Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me for uh, we're 3-3, so March 3rd, 2022 World Session. And there's a few things that are coming in strongly already into this World Session. And I'm tuning in, bringing in it's called the miracle frequency. So I guess it's like a cure-all, or I don't know very much of it. I'm not a specialist at this, but I was bringing intuitively 528 hertz was coming in quite strongly. So you can go ahead and research that yourself. But we're going to plug this 528 hertz. You could feel your body. Oh my God, vibrate. I could feel it vibrating through my cells, through the fascia, through the dense matter. So that would be fat. There's just this melting, running the 528 hertz through the body. So everyone can tune in for yourself, and you can see how that feels for yourself. For me, it feels, oh my God, it feels like a full body massage inside out. I feel like I'm melting, like just melting. All of the tension is melting. Oh, so I'm going to leave that running in the background, and your body mind will figure out where it needs to go and how it needs to. Oh, sorry, there's a really big release of energy. So for anyone new who's coming in to listen to these sessions, um, sometimes I burp or I belch. That's a release of energy. There's a release happening. I wish it didn't happen through burps, but it comes up as it comes up. Anyhow, so vibrating this 520 hertz, and this is going to be run in the background through the whole session. So it's going to be like the ambient music for the session. Oh, that feels so good. I'm going to go ahead and tap this in. You can tap that in for yourself, tuning into that healing energy. There we go. And there's a few things that want to come up. We're going to balance emotions to water. So we're going to do a hydration. We're doing if you have some clean water with you, you can go ahead and do that. You take some water, any cup of water. I'm putting my fingers in it. Stick it in your belly button. You can even take it on a piece of tissue. Rub that in your belly button, and I'm going to go ahead and on its own run a full hydration. So hydration is this gorgeous, beautiful, luscious technique I love of Body Talk. It brings in hydration to all of the system and places that are feeling crispy. That's what I call it. It also helps move emotions. So any blocked emotions, it helps replenish electrolytes, reduce brain fog, reduce sensitivities. Also, there's a couple of scientific studies that say that most children who suffer ADHD are actually dehydrated. And for the most part, mostly everyone is walking around dehydrated, not enough water or clean water. And now there's grief coming up. So the hydration is being run through general body energy. So that's your whole system, everything that makes you, your Wei Qi, your chakra system, your meridians, your tissues, your cellular structure, your bones, everything that makes you up physically. We're running a hydration. You may not need it in all of the places. Your body will tune into where you need it most. And that's being linked into the lungs and the large intestines. So both these organs have to do are their natural emotions grief, so they know how to let go. They just do it naturally. You don't have to think about it. You just go to the washroom, and your lungs can expel grief. And there feels like there's some stickiness there. So we're going to go ahead and do a repair to the lungs and doing a repair to the large intestine simultaneously. So this is running as a parallel session. So you're getting a double, I call like two streets. So it's happening, the work is happening simultaneously to the lungs and the large intestines. Now, there's a few different aspects that need to be tended to at the same time. And since I'm just watching the work, it's quite complex. But first, we're in the lungs. Oh my God, my nose is so itchy all of a sudden. So there's a lot of toxins coming up from the nose, a lot of mucosa. Oof, so we're going to do a mucus drainage from the lungs. There's pathological grief, pathological thinking, paranoia, also lung damage. So we're going to run a lung damage. So this is weakened lungs in the sense of anyone who's asthmatic, who has had a bad flu, bronchitis, pneumonia in any time of their life. There it goes. I'm going to run a general body chemistry to the lungs. You can do this for yourself. If you have clean fingers, you can go ahead and put some saliva on your fingers, stick it in your navel. I'm running a general body chemistry. So we're going to run through both viral and bacteria that can attack the lungs. Do I need to? No, I don't need to be specific. So your body will figure that out. And going into hidden viruses from childhood. So things that are hanging around from childhood that the body hasn't been able to tend to, that are being aggravated by daily life happenings. So we've got a lot going on in the world today. And there's a lot of grief, right? So with wars, finances is coming up, money difficulties, job losses, even the grief of knowing, no, excuse me, I don't like that word, not knowing, doing what is right for you and then being punished from external sources. So, oh, that's really heavy. And then there's an eighth chakra influence on this. So we've got some hereditary and we've got past and past life. So we're going to go and do repair the genetic code, the epigenetic coding to the eighth chakra affecting the lungs. So what's coming up through the genetics? This is on the maternal, we're going, so grandfathers, one generation. We're just going 2 generations, so not parents, so maternal, mother's father. So any trauma or epigenetic coding coming in from mother's father that it was affecting the lungs, we need to balance that out. So I could breathe. Oh, that's so much better. So anything, bronchitis, pneumonias, tuberculosis, emphysemas. Whoop, that was a big one on emphysema. Lung cancers. So we want to balance that out and neutralize that. So going to balance that eighth chakra influence from the lungs. Oof, now we're going into and running a past life active memory thread through the lungs of past lives of suffocation. Oh my, that's really heavy. So you can run through yourself. I'm seeing there's a few images of choking, drowning, strangulation, asphyxiation of some sort, anything, oh my God, compression, like things being dropped on your chest. So we need to balance, we need to go ahead and neutralize that. And that one's having a little bit of a trickier time. So I'm bringing in Ho'oponopono. You can go ahead and hold your lungs. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Whew, that was gone. Beautiful. Now we're going in and bringing that hydration in again. The lungs feel very sticky, like it's a hard time breathing. So bringing in a hydration specific and speeding up the way the water moves through the lungs. We don't want them crispy, but we don't want them too inundated. We don't want fluid built up in the lungs. But there feels to be like a glitch with the water in the lungs. So we need to go ahead and balance a few things out. First of all, we need to clean out the lungs. So we're going to speed up the way the water moves within the lungs. So in the bronchioles, in the alveoli, within the whole, I don't know, the meaty structure, the lining of the lungs down to the cellular molecules. The cells in the lungs feel like they're not doing it. They're struggling a little bit with the cellular clean out. So within the intercellular fluid within the lungs, that it feels a little sticky. So we're going to do a cleanup. So going to speed up that water process so it could negatively charge the water in the lungs, and at the same time it creates a hydrogen peroxide. And it's fizzling up, and that feels so nice. There we go. And bringing in, I'm going to watch that happen. And we're dumping the toxins. We're going to link that into the spleen and the lymph. So the spleen and the lymph is a part of the cleanup. I call them the cleanup crew. Making sure the spleen is nice and healthy to be able to dump those toxins, that the lymph is nice and healthy to dump those toxins from the lungs, and then making sure that the lungs and the cells within the lungs are in good communication with each other. So I'm going to do a Seedry on that link. So they can all be talking to each other well, and everyone knows what the other one is doing. There we go. That feels really good. So now I'm going to move into the large intestines. This is not linking two together. This is a parallel session. So I'm going to link the lungs to the large intestines because their communication is a little bit off. Let them recommunicate. Oh, that link feels really nice and strong. And now we're doing the repair on the large intestines. Feels like there's, so any kind of upset stomach stuff. So either constipation, diarrhea, trouble with going to the bathroom, inconsistency with going to the washroom. And this is interesting, but the large intestines is actually being impacted by EMFs and EMF signals. So any kind of electromagnetic frequencies, even if they're natural from the earth. It feels there's a shift in the magnetic fields. I believe the magnetic north and south nodes are changing. I think I heard that somewhere. Please don't quote me on it. And it also feels like the vibration of the earth is changing, that there seems to be this a different frequency to the planet Earth. So that can impact our bodies, obviously. I'm just going quiet to see how just watching the earth vibrate with a different frequency, watching everyone vibrate differently, just watching the work. All right, so we're going to balance out the EMFs from the large intestines. It really has an impact, and it's actually creating, I'm feeling pain within the abdomen. So this would also be impacting any lower pelvic. So pelvic basin, uterus, prostate for men, perineum for women. We're going to balance that out to the EMFs. And then you can also think about your microwaves or internet or cell phones or phones in general. And even others, like picking up other people's vibes. You know, you're not this one island onto yourself. Oh, there we go. And there feels like there's some twists in the large intestines, just slightly twisted. So we're going to go ahead and do a Vivaxis to the large intestines and get it resituated you can hold your large intestines. This may not apply to you, but if you're feeling abdominal pain, it might even just be a slight twist or a slight displacement. Oh, and we're going to run a body Vivaxis on the large intestines and get it back into sync with the whole digestive system, linking it, putting it in a nice location right by the small intestines, and then the liver and the gallbladder and all of the rest of the digestive organs. Oh, my whole body just melted on that one. All right, go ahead and tap this in. And so I started the series of these sessions to tune into abundance. And I had an experience yesterday where I saw myself trying to stop my thoughts. And that's crazy. Thoughts cannot be stopped. The nature of the mind is insanity. It's just crazy. Our thoughts whip us about. And I had this moment of compassion for myself and this moment of compassion even towards my mind. And so this is coming into play with abundance. I don't need to do anything to become abundant. That's really huge. It's just to break down the thinking that I cannot be in the flow of abundance, or you cannot be in the flow of abundance. It's all around. And so there's nothing to fix. So we're going to run that. That is just so massive. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. I'm going to bring in this compassion for yourself, right? The spell of the mind is there. And it was there for a long time. You can think back your childhood, and those old ways of being served you when you were small. In fact, they kept you alive when you were little, right? These modes of operating, trying to navigate the world of being alive in your family and all of the complexities of that. And so the mind is only doing what it thinks it needs to do, is to keep you safe through these old modes of operating. So it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. It's just doing its job. And so I'm just going to bring in compassion to the three brains, bringing in the consciousness of compassion to the brain, which has nothing to do with the mind, bringing in compassion to the heart brain, and bringing in compassion to the gut brain, and linking those three brains together. Head, heart, and gut. You can go ahead and end of session. I would love to hear your feedback. Let me know how you go. I'll see you all next week.